Hi, it's Katrina. Number 10. Headless Roman Remains. Archaeologists investigating a trio of Roman cemeteries from nearly 2,000 years ago in England discovered something both shocking and disturbing. Their investigations revealed the decapitated bodies of 17 people. Experts called it an exceptionally high number of headless remains, leading them to make some pretty gruesome accusations. In total, the Cambridge Archaeological Unit discovered 52 burials while excavating a farm in the town of Somersham. 13 of them were buried face down, and 17 of them had no heads. The ones with no heads had their skulls placed at their feet. Some were even in the kneeling position, as if buried in the same pose as when their heads were cleaved from their necks. While you may expect people who have been beheaded to have some kind of defensive injuries, these skeletons don't. They don't have any signs of trauma directly before death, meaning they didn't fight back. This has led the archaeologists to theorize that the deaths were organized, probably part of some mass execution. It helps to know that the people living in this remote area of the Roman Empire or Roman-occupied Britain were farmers who provided grain and meat to the Roman armies. It's possible that when a group of Romans showed up to the farm, they didn't like what they saw and ordered the workers to be executed to keep the rest of the workers in line. It's not something that we can prove, but it is a solid theory. During the later part of Roman rule in Britain, deaths by execution climbed exponentially. State instability caused chaos and widespread violence at the hands of the Roman rulers. Number 9. The Haunted House. A woman named Caroline Humphreys says she lives in the most haunted house in the world, or at least one of them. She and her family moved into the house when she was only 8 years old. The house is actually an old British inn called the Ancient Ram Inn, located in the small town of Watton-under-Edge. When her parents purchased the property in 1968, it was already 1,000 years old. Her parents turned it into a bed and breakfast, and through the years they have found some pretty shocking things inside its walls. More specifically, the family has found a number of bones. Piles of bones, jawbones, spines, skulls, femur bones, you name it. Caroline's father was the first to discover a stack of human bones beneath the living room flagstones. And to make things even creepier, the bones were accompanied by a set of strange-looking daggers. In more recent days, Caroline's partner discovered another stockpile of bones hiding beneath the staircase. The family has never figured out where the bones came from, but because of the presence of the ritual daggers, as well as a strange meeting with a diviner, they believe it has something to do with sacrificial killings. When Caroline had a diviner visit her house, the spiritual medium claimed there were children buried all throughout the property. It could very well be that the home was used in ritualistic killings as far back as 500 years ago, perhaps even by witches. Caroline's partner also discovered a mummified cat inside of the wall during renovation work. If you discovered piles of human bones or mummified animals in your home, would you stay? Let me know in the comments. Number 8. Escaping a tsunami. 3,600 years ago, the Thera volcano exploded. It unleashed a series of massive tsunamis in the Aegean Sea that decimated the Mediterranean area. For the first time, archaeologists have found the shocking remains of a young man and his dog, who were caught and killed in one of these tsunamis. It's sad and fascinating for two reasons. First of all, archaeologists have never actually found a human victim from this particular eruption in the archaeological context. Secondly, the location in Turkey where the man and his dog were found is new evidence of the northernmost area affected by the tsunamis caused by the Thera volcano. The remains were found during excavations in the small town of Sesme. It all started when construction workers building a new complex of apartments found ruins from the Bronze Age. Once archaeologists got involved, they started noticing much of the devastation in the town was caused by a sudden onset of water. And since they could date the site's destruction back to 1600 BC, they connected it directly to the volcano. Scientists say it was one of the worst natural disasters that humans ever saw, with the volcano unleashing an eruption over 2 million times more powerful than the Hiroshima atomic bomb. The blast wiped out the town of Akrotiri and helped collapse the entire Minoan civilization. It was so intense that it caused a global volcanic winter as far away as China. Sadly, the man and his dog, if indeed it was his, appear to have been trying to run away from the tsunami when they got caught. The pair got slammed against a wall by the massive wave. There they drowned, and there they were buried for over 3,000 years by the rubble. Number 7. Spanish bomb. In January of 2022, a Civil War bomb was discovered in the Spanish town of Zaragoza. The story of its discovery is not only shocking, but a little traumatic. There was a building in the town undergoing some renovations. A local resident who survived the Spanish Civil War of 1936 to 1939 happened to be walking by when he saw the work being done. He remembered that as a child, fascist bombers had dropped explosives directly on that building, but not all of them blew up. It happened when he was only 6 years old, 80 years before these renovations were being done. The citizen was concerned that the renovators might accidentally find the unexploded bombs and set them off. He warned them, explained his traumatic story from the Civil War, and work on the building was halted. A special group came in with metal detectors to see if there really were unexploded bombs. And sure enough, they discovered one massive bomb that had been dumped by the Italian Air Force fighting for Francisco Franco during the war. It was huge and would have exploded with enough force to bring the whole building down. It was lucky the man walked by when he did, and even luckier that he had such a good memory. Number 6. The Surgeon's House. The Surgeon's House is a remarkable old building in the Italian city of Rimini, situated in the beautiful Piazza Ferrari. It was first discovered in 1989 and underwent 18 years of excavations before finally being opened to the public. The house was a residential building during the Roman period, built in the 2nd century AD. It's called the Surgeon's House because of all the surgical equipment found by archaeologists. They discovered over 150 pieces of surgical tech, from scales and containers to preservations and medicines. They even found a therapeutic vase made for a person's foot. But the truly shocking discovery was in the surgeon's operating room, where he took care of his patients. There was a small hoard of coins abandoned at around the year 260 AD. Archaeologists also found a very peculiar device used specifically for extracting arrowheads. Adjacent to the surgeon's house is the ruin of a palace, which was destroyed in the 6th century AD. It was during this period that Rimini found itself in the center of a war between the Goths and the Byzantine Greeks. The palace was buried after the fighting and later became the location for a Christian cemetery. The Christians hacked apart the mosaic floors of the palace and buried bodies literally inside its foundation, making the later excavations of the area truly shocking. Number 5. Viking Cave of Doom. Researchers in Iceland came across a trove of very rare artifacts from 1,000 years ago. The artifacts were discovered inside a mysterious Cave of Doom, called that because it is a tunnel formed by lava flows at the edge of a dormant volcano. These artifacts include a stone structure shaped like a boat, some beads from the Middle East, and the burned bones of animals. But the stone boat, carved like an altar in the cave, is by far the most interesting. Experts theorize it was used as part of a ritual ceremony to keep Ragnarok from destroying the world. In Viking mythology, Ragnarok was the end of everything. It was a fiery apocalypse in which the gods would come down from above and wipe out humanity. And since they didn't really want that to happen, they made sacrifices in the cave to keep the gods from raining terror down upon them. And here's where things get truly interesting. The Vikings had only recently colonized Iceland. After they arrived, this volcano exploded in welcome. The destruction, the fire, the smoke, it all would have been so terrifying that the Vikings thought Ragnarok was coming. When the lava cooled and the volcano calmed down, they immediately went into one of the hollow lava chambers, built an altar, and started making sacrifices to keep the volcano from ever exploding again. Number 4. Mysterious murals. What began as an ordinary renovation project to convert a historic building into a public bar turned into an archaeological project to restore artwork. A couple named Nick and Lisa purchased a building in a small Washington town called Okanagan, about 4 hours from Seattle. But as they were tearing down the walls in late 2021, they found giant murals painted on canvases, each one over 60 feet long. They were shocked to find that their house came with old artwork. As it turned out, the artwork wasn't that ancient. It came from 1907, when the building was a movie theater, pool hall, and rooster fighting arena. That's right, cockfights. Washington in 1907 was a crazy place where you could go to see a movie, play a game of pool, and watch two birds fight to the death. The couple managed to find newspaper clippings from 1915 that show the murals when they were first painted. They were originally improvements for the Hub Theater, 120 feet of panoramic landscape. Now that the couple know what they have in their building, they'll be refurbishing the artwork and keeping it right where it's been for over 100 years. What would you do if you discovered artwork in your home? Restore it? Sell it? Keep it? Tell me in the comments. Number 3. Remains of the Aztec. Archaeologists in Mexico made a breakthrough when they found a shocking array of human remains hidden underneath a pyramid. The discovery came from the ancient city of Teotihuacan. But to understand it better, we need to go back to 2003 and look at an older find from the area. Nearly 2 decades ago, professionals unveiled a tunnel in the bedrock beneath the Pyramid of the Sun. At first, they thought it was just a natural cave beneath the pyramid, but when they kept digging, they found a carved chamber hemmed by huge walls. These walls were originally designed to block access deeper into the complex. But of course, archaeologists managed to get past the walls and go deeper to the very end of the tunnel. Here they found nothing, as the tunnel had already been pillaged by robbers throughout the centuries. After all, Teotihuacan predates the Aztec by around 1,000 years. People have been coming in and out of these temples and pyramids since the Roman Empire was still around. Fast forward to 2017, when archaeologists uncovered a similar secret tunnel beneath the Feathered Serpent Pyramid. This tunnel had not been pillaged by robbers, so archaeologists pulled out over 100,000 different objects, some of them dating back over 1,800 years. They had been placed there as ritual offerings to mysterious old gods. Some of the artifacts included crocodile teeth, crystals shaped like eyes, and jaguar sculptures. They also found countless human bones. These poor people had undoubtedly been the victims of human sacrifice. Number 2. Viking gold men. On a hill in Sweden, a bronze Celtic mask was found in 2004. 8 years later, an archaeological team was dispatched to the area to conduct a full excavation. The team discovered a large number of trinkets, some of the most fascinating of which were gold foil heads of men and women. These gold Viking heads were likely used to decorate cauldrons during the Iron Age, over 1,000 years ago. The whole excavation became very mysterious very quickly. The team retrieved at least 29 anthropomorphic gold foil heads, but they also found Roman glass, bronze treasures, fragments of vessels, and coins from the Viking Age. Nobody knows if these artifacts were abandoned or left on the hill on purpose. Whatever the case, they came from a very turbulent time in European history. This was right after the fall of the West Roman Empire, and every tribe was on the move. This leaves 3 options for how the mysterious artifacts arrived buried at this particular hill. They may have been part of a ritual burial site, which would explain all the gold heads used for decorating cauldrons. Or they may have been buried with the intent of being picked up later. Or they may have just been part of a huge drinking and feasting festival, and then were left behind as the travelers moved on. Number 1. The Pilbara. Scientists have finally proved beyond a doubt that the Pilbara region of Western Australia is one of the oldest places on the planet, formed over 3.6 billion years ago. But wait, isn't all of the Earth the same age? Yes and no. Scientists looked at the vast formations of iron rock in the Pilbara region, a place over twice the size of Great Britain, and what they found is that much of the iron rock was formed before oxygen was ever on the planet, meaning way before any life took form. It's the best preserved example of the most ancient part of the Earth's crust. The surface of our planet is always changing because of geological activity. Volcanoes, earthquakes, tsunamis, everything is always changing. It's been this way since the planet first formed, but some parts of the planet are much newer. For example, the Himalaya mountains only appeared 50 million years ago. That's pretty young in the grand scheme of things. The whole region was flat, and then 50 million years ago it turned into the highest point on Earth. That's what I mean by always changing. But scientists have now confirmed that the Pilbara region has never changed. According to Martin van Kranendonk from the University of New South Wales, it looks nearly the exact same as it did 3.6 billion years ago. It's managed to stay clear of every geological event and preserve itself perfectly. Looking at this region is like looking at the planet before a single organism ever existed here. Thanks for watching! What's your favorite discovery? Let me know in the comments below, and remember to subscribe if you haven't already. We've got lots more videos coming up. See you next time. Bye!